Hello and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. On this show, through analysing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you your superpowers, what makes you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. To get your dream analysed on my show, go to dream-analysis.com, fill in the form there, and I will take it from there. So please do. I always need new dreams, and the more interesting, the better. So if you have a few dreams, send me a few dreams, and hopefully one of them will be just perfect for the show. Well, last week I interviewed Maggie, and she had two dreams. We got through one dream on the show, and I wanted to start off with Maggie's second dream. So here's the dream. I was in my apartment complex and I see two-way traffic. Every car was stuck, including a police car with their lights on. A police car, that represents guides. So even my guides are stuck, or at least that's my view. The apartment complex is to do with the heart, emotionally. And even this two-way flow of traffic, that's to do with the heart, because the heart is a balance chakra. It needs a two-way flow of energy to stay healthy. I figured something happened, so better get in front of them so I can get home. I started backing up my car, but I couldn't see anything. All the windows were fogged up. I remember the car was going so fast. I was scared I'm going to hit something. Someone. My brake wasn't working either, but I managed to stop. And then I drove forward to the parking lot. It was a school parking lot. All of a sudden, it was very sunny, and there was a lot of parents with their kids. One of the parents assures me that it's okay to leave my car in that parking lot. Parking spot. After I left my car, I noticed I forgot my purse, so I went back and realized that my brown purse was inside a grey purse. Very strange, I thought. Okay, so I've read the whole dream. So the theme of the dream is you trying to go somewhere and you're blocked. Now we know from what you said what's going on in your life, and so this dream would absolutely make sense. You're in chemo, you're in recovery from treatment for cancer, and so that's what it's going to be about. But the windows are fogged up. You can't see where you're going. You feel this part about the car's going so fast. I'm scared I'm going to hit someone, and your brake isn't working. That's a fear of what if I'm doing the wrong thing? What if I'm taking the wrong direction? And so is that how you feel today? Are you worried about where you're going because you don't really know if things are going to work out for you?
Well, Michael, as soon as you said that, I just remember considering either taking chemo or not. Like that was a huge decision for me. And I know some people would think you crazy. You have cancer, of course you go for chemo. But for some reason, I was so scared of chemo, and I know how it affects your whole body, not only helping the cancer, but also it's killing the cancer, but also it's killing your everything else. So that was my fear. Should I do it? Should I not do it? And when I decided to go for chemo, I was still regretting it. Does that make sense?
It does.
So maybe,
it totally does.
Yeah.
And you probably,
yeah.
You're saying I sound crazy for saying it, but if you're around people who are cancer survivors and so on, it kind of makes sense, because sometimes the treatment feels like worse than the disease. And
yes,
you see people going to the lowest point they've ever been at in their lives before they recover. So yeah, it's a huge thing. And you have to be brave to go for that, because you're saying I'm getting on this journey and I don't know where it's going to take me. And so this makes sense, the way this dream came. What I really like, though, is you end up parking in a school car park. So schools are really good in dreams. Schools are about learning about yourself to improve yourself. And that's what our life is about. There's a lot of parents there and kids, one of the parents, and they tell you in the dream, it's okay to park your car there at the school. So again, with the school being a good place in all dreams, it's good that you're parking there and you can leave your car there. But then you go back to get your purse and you notice that your brown purse is inside a grey purse. So again, we have the connection to the apartment complex, which is about the heart and the need to be open. And then the purse is about responsibility, but grey is about mental denial of emotion. So you have your purse wrapped up in this grey one. So again, this ties back to the first part of the apartment complex, that what you need to do is open up. And that was what your previous dream was about opening up. And that sounds like an easy thing to say, but for somebody who isn't open, that's almost like, I don't even know what you mean. It's a bit, I often compare it to like riding a bike. You know what the experience is when you've had the experience, but until you do it, you don't know what it feels like. And so here you're trying to understand something before you do it. And it just seems kind of crazy. But that's the key. That's what you're responsible for. It's like your responsibility is to open up. In your case, because of what we said and saw in the other dream, it's like asking for help. It's about connecting with people and so on. Is there anything else in the dream that I see here? Yeah, obviously, because the police car is stuck with the lights on as well. How do you feel about your connection with your guides and their help and involvement in this whole situation? Do you feel like it's beyond their abilities too?
No, I mean, I always try to communicate and ask for help, but I feel like they're stuck. I feel like I don't have the ability to hear them or see what they're trying to show me. Or maybe they give up on me. I don't know.
Okay, so they never would. And so you're hilarious because I asked, do you feel like they can't help you? And you said, no, I always try to communicate, but I think they're stuck, which is exactly what the dream is saying. He shows them stuck, but they're not stuck. That's just your viewpoint. And it's understandable why you would have that viewpoint, because you're like, well, how do I have this problem? You have every right to ask those questions and to feel that way. But then the dream says, okay, your job, your responsibility in all of this is to be more open, to share yourself, to be less private. Now, there's going to be issues that cause you to be private. It's not as simple as, oh, I go after this. The being private is a defense mechanism for a trauma that you suffered. And so telling somebody to drop their defenses before the trauma is healed is like crazy, because it's like, why would I do that? I still have this trauma. But the trauma is subconscious. It isn't anything you are, let's say, consciously aware of today. All you see now is the symptom of your defense mechanism in this trauma. So it means you've got to go back and look at your early start to life, because we have parents and kids, so we know it's back then, and see what happened that caused you to start closing off and to start hiding your feelings and emotions. And you said from last week's dream, or from the earlier dream, that you always had to put on the pretense of everything being perfect to get the attention that you wanted. Because if things weren't perfect, you were told you have to do it yourself, you have to solve it yourself, etc. Is that true?
Yes, that's totally true. That makes so much sense.
Okay. So that's your part. That's your whole responsibility here, is work on the issues. But so we know what some of them are. We know you're saying parents, because you're probably trying to be kind. Which parent is the one that most caused you to close off and be kind of private?
I feel like it's my dad, because I feel like, I feel like it's my dad, because my dad seemed always to be emotionally not available. So, but then again, my mom was always the one who was in charge of the house and everybody in the house, and she was always the one, do it yourself. So it's like both of them actually.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both are part of all this. He did things in a different way, but my mom was also part of this outcome. Yeah, definitely.
All right. So that means you got to look at the overlap and see who you need to work on, because it probably is both. And that doesn't make it impossible. It just means that because there's kind of an overlap, you have to maybe work on each parent in succession and try peel away the layers that caused you the pain and trauma that made you put on this outward appearance that everything's fine when it's not. But ultimately, that's what it is. Would that be a correct way to summarize it, like putting on an appearance that everything is fine?
Yes, because that's exactly, as soon as you said that, I'm like, that's exactly what I do. I always make everything look so fine, and everything is fine when it's not, because that's what I want them to think, and everybody else too.
Okay. Well, there are solutions for this. You already cut the ties with Dad, but you're in the middle of something else. So you would, if you were going to do anything like that, you would have to evaluate it all, check with the guides, and see, is it an appropriate time to do work like that? Because it isn't always appropriate. When there's other big things that are going on in your life. But it's still the area that we know for sure, 2 dreams in a row, saying it's all about you opening and showing how you are, how you really feel. And that sounds easy to say, but it is it's such a common condition. So many people have this. Not, it's 50%, you could say, of people have difficulty showing the world who they really are. So you're not alone, but it is what you have to do. And I will talk to you after this show, and we will continue on with suggestions for how to add things into what you're already doing that's going to help you fight this. But the best part of the dream is you arrive and it's a very sunny day. So I just want to finish on that everything is like, I don't know where I'm going. Even my guides are stuck. I'm afraid that damage is going to be caused because I'm going fast. Like my brake isn't even working. But when you arrive at the school, you say, and I'm going to find the piece, all of a sudden it was very sunny. And so that's it. So it's like you arrive at a very sunny spot in your life after all of this. So hold that promise from your dreams, because you don't get those promises if that's not going to be the case. So thank you for taking the call, Maggie. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Bye. Alrighty. Now let's do some of your dreams. I got this dream in from Olly. He says, "Hi, Michael. This dream got me wondering." Well, that's what they do. "When do we know if a dream is a healing dream or a guidance dream? I interpreted this dream to mean that my anger is being healed into love. That will help me to open my crown chakra. Alternatively, my higher self could be asking me to work on turning my anger into love." From previous work and healings, it appears that I carried a lot of anger into this life. From my previous lives, one of the lives was particularly horrific and short. I hope that I'm in the process of transforming it into love, and so healing this aspect. Looking forward to your show tonight. Thanks for your insight. Best wishes, Olly. Okay, Olly, well, thank you very much for sending the dream. And it's a really short dream. And here it is. "A friend of mine called Ralph has arrived at my house very early in the morning. He starts to paint purple tulips on a white canvas. It's lovely to see his brush strokes as the tulips appear." And he calls the dream Purple Tulips. And when he was explaining what he thought the dream meant earlier, he said bits of the dreams that he got it from. And that was really good, because you're on the money there. So here's the thing. You said Ralph was a pun on anger. So what you do is you would need to tell me a little bit about Ralph, because he's very positive in this dream. So it's hard to see him being a pun on anger, but the rest you got right. Because he's actually doing something really positive. And you're asking, how can you tell guidance from healing? Well, this one is definitely healing, because he's actually doing something. And he's a painter in the dream, so he's taking the role of a healing agent, doing something for you. And you say it's very early in the morning. That's a really good thing in dreams. That's about waking up to something, because we wake up early in the morning. Dawn, if you had said dawn, that would be even better, because that would be about getting on the dharmic path. But you didn't. Too late now. Don't bother telling me. Anyway, you say he starts to paint purple tulips on a white canvas. So white is about being controlling. So Olly, are you controlling? Do you, for instance, make sure you know everything that's going to happen and control your environment so that you have a sense of security and safety or whatever? Because that's what white is often about. And then the purple is going to then be about calming that that mind. Straight from my book, if you look up my book, which I know you have, it says purple brings spiritual peace, heals insomnia, and calms highly strung, excitable people. Are you one of those? Are you an excitable person? Of course, I say that's in my book, but it's in for the crown chakra, which I put against the color violet, but you can read it for purple. So that's kind of like I deliberately tucked it away under the name of a different color, just to make it harder for you. But if purple is healing in a dream, that's what it's healing for. It brings spiritual peace. Now, it also means that you have a spiritual leadership ability because it is the color of the crown chakra. And so that's super important for you too. And that's been put on the white. So it's white when mixed with other colors is always really positive. It's about having hope and confidence in that ability. And then also the flowers are a symbol of love, like you said. And so the dream is actually giving you the love you didn't get. That's the point of the flowers. And it's painting that picture for you to say, look, you are loved, etc. And this is the ideal because it's a painting. This is the goal. This is what you're to go after. Loving yourself and embracing your spiritual leadership ability. And then you say, it's lovely to see his brush strokes as the tulips appear. So that's really good. So that's about, it's not all going to come in one go. You're not going to do something and then bam, you suddenly feel like you're worthy of love. It's going to be a little bit of work, repeated over and over and over, and then you will see the full picture. You'll get the full picture. But it's a really nice dream. I love little short dreams like that because there's so much in them. Even though they're very, very short, and you didn't spoil it. That's the point of it. You didn't spoil the dream. Really good. Well, let's move on. We have a dream from Michelle. She says, and I don't like this dream. My dream was about when myself, my grandma, and my aunt went on a hot air balloon ride. We are riding along the forest when all of a sudden the hot air balloons start racing with each other. We are going really fast, which is scary for all of us. So there's a few things in this. First of all, you're prophetic. You're able to tell things about the future. The second is you're a spiritual healer, which is what the fast hot air balloon is about. And then you've been forced to do things at a pace that you weren't really ready for. That's what the competition is about, racing each other, which isn't good. Isn't good because of where it goes. You say, then we get dropped onto a blown up obstacle course that went on for miles. We had to run, climb and crawl to get past these obstacles. Then I get kidnapped by the actor Bob Morley, and he takes me in a laboratory and locks me up in a cell with others, which were strangers. The room was super bright with lots of lights, and everything in the room was white, like walls, counters, clothes, etc. The people who kidnapped us were super aggressive and gave us shots to sedate us. But it did not work for me, so I got myself to unlock the cell door, and then I started to walk up the stairs to leave. But then Bob Morley grabbed me, which was the end of my dream. So by looking at it, it was a failure. Okay. So that last part is not very nice where you say it's a failure. I know you're looking at the dream and saying, oh, I failed that dream. Most of us do. Most of us spoil the end of our dreams. But here's the thing, what I don't like about this. So you're forced and you're young. So you're I'm not going to give your age away, but you're quite young. So you're forced to do things at a pace that you're not comfortable with. And then you end up onto this blown up obstacle course. So it's like suddenly life became really tough for you. Probably led to digestive system problems because we have with this obstacle course and we have the forest in the dream. And then you get kidnapped. You get abducted by Bob Morley. We also know you're a channel because you have an actor in the dream. But we're very specific. So this is interesting. This dream has 3 gifts we've already seen for you. But it has a really negative thing. The part I dislike the most, you're abducted, you're held against your will. And the part I really dislike is the being given the shots. Because I've seen that so many times before, and it's indicative of abuse, sexual abuse. So if that is something that has happened to you, reach out. talk to somebody in your locality, get help from somebody, because it's definitely something you want to deal with. You don't want to be still in this environment, because at the end of this dream, you're still not over it, because Bob Morley grabs you and you don't escape. So it's like emotional as well, because you talk about being held in a cell, and that's about the emotional side of things. The other thing that when I looked up Bob Morley, because I didn't know him, and he's an actor from the 100 series, which I have seen some of those, because my youngest was into that. And the thing that's all over the internet about him is how he abused his ex-girlfriend. So it fits with the theme. I'm not saying he did or didn't, but if that's in your mind and you know about that, it fits with this part of the dream. Very interesting to see all these gifts at the same time showing up. And that's quite often the result of trauma. The positive side of the coin is that it unlocks spiritual abilities because of the necessity for you to know, is this going to end? How do I deal with this? How do I get out of this? But anyway, my advice to you is, if this did happen in your life, Michelle, reach out, get help from somebody, because you need it. Alrighty. Let's see if we can move on. That was a tough one. This one is from Judy. She says, the unusual thing about this is the location was really my yard, and what my yard really looks like. We let the wildflowers grow, and they're quite tall by the end of the summer. So that's really important, because I would have interpreted this differently. I channeled on them, and the guide said, no, it's not the normal meaning anyway, but it's really helpful to know. So here's the dream, quite a short dream. All that I remember of this dream is a piano, an upright piano. So Judy, we know you're a channel, because that's what the piano represents, that has been placed in our front yard. So it's something you're meant to do in the present and future, among the tall weeds and wildflowers. Someone is going to come and play. I think that we should at least mow the weeds on this side of the piano, so the person won't have to walk through them, to give a sort of cleaner, clearer entrance / performance area. But someone else suggested it is a romantic stage setting to leave the weeds / wildflowers there. And you call it the piano in the yard. So yeah, I like the dream. The wildflower here is like the typical one. It's about somebody who puts themselves down, but you shouldn't. So if you put your channeling ability down, you're not to. You're not to mow it and trim it and make it look nice for other people's pleasure. You're to just let yourself blossom, let that gift blossom the way it is for you, and use it the way you have it. I think that's everything that's in that dream. What else, Judy? I think you're the one, you wrote to me a while ago and you said that I finish all my emails with best regards. And it's true, I do. I either say regards or best regards. And you said that it's very formal and it kind of puts you off and you don't know what way to take it. And since you've said that, I stopped doing it. It's like, wow, because it's not having the intention that I meant. I'm from Ireland, obviously, if you can tell by the accent. But it's kind of like a casual formal there to say that. And that's what I thought I was doing. So you've really thrown me. And so I've been signing emails just Michael lately. And so I never replied to that email, but here you have it on the radio. And it just is funny that it put me into a bit of a spin, because I'm like, okay, what's going on? What am I doing? All right, so let's move on. This one's from Sylvia. It's really short. It's about her ex-boyfriend, and she says, in the dream, he kept telling me to take my car back. He's going to give it, which he took from me, and then he kept throwing up and couldn't stop. That dream does not mean he's going to give you your car back, assuming he has your car. That's just what you want. But him throwing up in the dream, that's a pretty obvious one. So you just turned it around, and it's basically you are sick of this guy. And you said he doesn't stop throwing up, so he's not going to change. So the message of the dream is really, anything you try to do with this guy is going to be you wasting effort. And that's probably what he enjoys, stringing you along or whatever it is. But yeah, not a good dream. But thank you for sending it in. And then another relationship one, looking at the time, I think we're good. This is from Betsy. She says, "Hi, Michael. In February of this year, I went to a party and met someone great. That's so good. That's so good. We really hit it off and made plans to meet for coffee. When we met for coffee, I had a nice time. We established that we wanted to continue seeing more of each other. Due to vibration, so that was really good, lovely setup. Due to vibrational mismatches, we lost touch and our connection." See, thank you for doing that to us. "The problem is that I have not been able to stop thinking about this woman. 2 days ago, I had a dream about her. In the dream, I ran into her and she was getting married, which was a bummer. However, I could not see the other woman's face. Obviously, the universe is trying to tell me something. What does all of this mean?" Well, it's pretty simple. You're not meant to try and make this work because it won't. Someone else is already in her future, and it's somebody that neither you nor she knows yet. But that's it, and that's why there's no face on the woman. That's it. The show's over. What are you going to do now? How are you going to get more dreams? How are you going to get that fix? Well, I've been thinking about this, and I have a solution for you. Go to my website, get on my list by downloading my dream dictionary at dream-analysis.com, and you will get my dictionary there and then that has thousands of symbols that are all from dreams I've analyzed, so they're all accurate, validated with the dreamers. Plus, you'll also get a series of emails from me where I will help you to understand more and more about your dreams. Grows a little bit progressively, but it's took me a long time to put that series of emails together, but you'll enjoy it. Anyway, that's the show. I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.